Hello, welcome to another episode of the Cruise News you can use for this Monday morning. Hope you guys are having a good day. The first up, Carnival Conquest was delayed for their embarkation yesterday. Seems that there was a medical emergency on board on the end of the previous cruise. So the Conquest was coming back into port, and because of a medical emergency and a medical evacuation, she ended up not getting back into port until 3 hours later than she was supposed to. So that, of course, had a trickle down effect, and so um, the guests that were trying to embark for their 5-night Thanksgiving cruise weren't able to board at 12 o'clock. Boarding didn't start till like 3 o'clock. So they ended up being late. Hopefully that won't impact their ports of call for their 5-nighter. And I hope the person that had to be medically evacuated is okay. Next up, NCL cancels a upcoming visit to Saudi Arabia. So December 13th, the Norwegian Dawn is embarking on a 7-night Middle Eastern cruise, and on December. Why do I have September stuck in my head? Anyway, on December 19th, they were going to stop in Daman, Saudi Arabia, but the NCL says because of recent developments in the region, they're canceling that stop for the safety of their passengers. My guess is it has to do with the war in Israel, and the unknown effects that the unknown safety issues in that region. So they're going to skip that port. The rest of their ports in the UAE are still on track, but they're going to skip Daman, and instead they're going to arrive into their disembarkation port of Doha, Qatar, instead of 6 a.m. on the morning of the 20th. They're actually going to arrive into Doha at 5 p.m. on the 19th. Passengers are not going to have to get off the ship until the next morning, regular disembarkation time. And Norwegian has added excursions for Doha so that once you arrive in Doha at 5 p.m., you can get off the ship for a couple hours and do an evening excursion, and then get back on the ship, have your last evening, and then get off disembark on the 20th if you wanted to, or just stay on board the ship and party that last night. Real quick, if you like the cruise news you can use, go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you're notified whenever we release new videos. And if you have a comment you'd like to make, we'd love to hear from you. Next story, pretty amazing feat in my opinion. So Mr. Kevin Harrison just recently hit 2,500 nights on board a UK-based cruise line called the Fred Olsen Cruise Line. So Mr. Harrison started cruising when he retired back in 1993. He went on a Fred Olsen cruise, absolutely fell in love with it, and has cruised consistently on that cruise line for over 30 years, over 100 cruises. So, I mean, do that math, 100 cruises, 2,500 nights. Mr. Harrison has done, I believe, if I remember correctly, it was 15 world cruises with the Fred Olsen line. So that's a lot of nights on board. Obviously, he likes the cruise. Obviously, he likes that cruise line. Congratulations, Mr. Harrison. Mr. Harrison just boarded a 14-night Fred Olsen cruise going to the Azores, Madeira, and Portugal. And when he came on board, the crew had a party set up for him with a cake, That's at 2,500 nights, and they really honored him. And Mr. Harrison said that he was honored, on during the celebration. He was honored by the captain of the Borealis, and Mr. Harrison's comment was that he literally remembered when the captain started working for the cruise line back in 1996 as a deckhand, and he's now the captain of the ship. So I thought that was a pretty cool story. Last but not least, we got stormy weather brewing in the Caribbean. Potential tropical cyclone number 22 is obviously a storm in the Caribbean that's potentially going to affect dozens of ships, from Carnival to NCL to Royal to MSC. It's going to hit or impact the islands of Jamaica, Haiti, the Bahamas, and Turks and Caicos, between actually from the 18th of November to the 20th of November. So in theory, that potential impact is lessening by the hour now that we've hit the 20th. I haven't heard too much about it disrupting. Well, I'm sure it disrupted the paths that the cruise ships took to get where they're going, but it doesn't seem like, at least so far, I haven't heard too many stories about people missing ports because of this storm. So hopefully the cruise line, it didn't turn into a major thing, and the cruise lines were able to avoid the brunt of it, just going around, changing their course. And that's about it for today. Have a great day.